Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, it keeps coming in boatloads. Well, here we have yet again verification of extraterrestrials, not little foggy beings from another dimension, as you hear the disinformation agent Jacques Villers. Well, they came out of my escargot and bit me in me butt. Oh, yeah. You know, all the lies that these people have been perpetrating for 50 years is mind-boggling, and they should be taken to task for it. This guy gets most of his funding from the CIA, and whose latest book, Jacques Villers, has an introduction by ex-Army General John Alexander. Oh, come on. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and I'm so sick of this. But let's get to the news. So, Israeli former space security chief states that there are extraterrestrial bases on Mars, and they have been in contact with them, the Israelis and the Americans, and I'm assuming others. And they've been working with them, and there's a working base on Mars with Americans, Israelis, and extraterrestrials. Yes, the physical kind that come in ships and that go to In-N-Out Burger when they're hungry. So the whole idea is that, here we are. I was laughed at, and silly little interviews were done 30 years ago by BBC reporter Thoreau, who I allege is a CIA disinformation contact who has sketchy and strange connections with child molesters and other things. This is all part of the little game, and now it comes out. Now, this guy is 87 years old, so this is the usual situation that happens. He has nothing to lose. What are they going to do with him? Throw him in prison? Well, that would verify his story. But when you're old and close to death, they either assassinate you, and he could die, as happened to General Corso and other ones. They have a heart attack, and of course, he's 87, even though he looks extremely fit, and being a military man, may live many years. He also states that President Trump was briefed of this and has full and complete knowledge of it. But other questions arise here. Well, this is not surprising to me. I mean, we know that there's been bases on Mars, and the push to go to Mars is just a giant campaign to cover up transports, vehicles, ships that want to go to Mars all the time, but can be seen. So if you say you're Elon Musk shot a booger into space, it's Minecraft, then all this is covered up. You also can start filtering money to the Mars program instead of having to keep everything undercover. But you got to remember that it takes, I believe, 7 months to get to Mars from Earth. This has to be taken into consideration. This is not just an issue about extraterrestrials, which anybody in their right mind would believe in, but it keeps coming out from one expert after another. We just had which I posted a little information on, a NASA astronaut who stated we're going to have contact with extraterrestrials very soon, and the list goes on and on. Now, these are not goofballs. These are not politicians. These are not even authors trying to make a buck. These are government officials who want to come clean as they get towards the end of their life. So this is irrefutable evidence. And let's also remember that, like Colonel Corso, who wrote the book the day after Roswell and soon got a heart attack after the release of that, also was very old. So the point is that all of these people do this as they come to the end of their lives, and they are people that have your life in their hands. Corso was in charge of the nuclear missile program, or at least a percentage of them. Here's a guy who is a high director in the Israeli Security Space Division who was probably in charge of missiles and other things. These people can start wars, bring the entire planet into a third world war, can kill millions of people. These are not just your local stumble bum. This isn't some goofball cop, politician, or man on the street. These are high-ranking people that we have to take seriously. We also have to, of course, always keep that 10% open as disinformation. There's reasons for this. These people generally just don't come out and state this. They're told to release this information. Israeli released this to this magazine in Israel, and finally it was picked up by some others in the news media. So we do have to take into consideration, is there a reason for this? Do they want us looking there? Is this some budgetary issue to make sure that we fund more Mars projects? But of course, Mars is a habitable planet, and some places on Mars, the temperatures are almost Earth-like at certain areas of the equator where it's a little warmer. There is water there, as there's water on the moon. Yes, there's water on the moon. And so it is a habitable planet. There has been talk that planet many thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago may have been nuked. There may have been a whole civilization up there. Other government experts have come out and identified 3 to 4 giant carved faces on Mars. Not just the one you've heard about, there are at least 2 more. And there's an additional group of 5 to 8 pyramids on Mars as well. Now, these are all overlooked again. Nobody goes there. It's the same NASA cover-up, the Nazi Aerospace Administration, and the constant lies and deceptions that are pushed upon the public, which is why nobody believes anything. While if, and I put a big if to it, this whole covert stuff is real, nobody or a large portion of the population doubt it because of government always lies to you about everything. What are they doing now for whatever reason they have, which is generally sick and perverted and self-serving. So this is the problem, as we constantly have lies and disinformation of what? And they do this deliberately. They will give you 2 different sides of the story. They'll bring out an official that, like this guy, and say things like this to confirm a particular position. Then they will bring somebody else out to say the opposite. This is classic disinformation. But I believe this is honest information. The fact that there are extraterrestrials living on this planet, by the way, on underground bases as well. Why he's decided to state Mars, I don't know. Why he decided to say Trump knows this. Now, Trump, I saw in an interview, who was asked about this directly. He originally said that he didn't believe in extraterrestrials whatsoever, but there's a slight possibility they could exist, and that he had no further information. Well, we know what a truth-sayer Trump is, so that means absolutely nothing one way or another, because, and of course all politicians do that, but Trump is a notorious liar and cheat, so he'll say anything that fits for the moment. And has no credibility whatsoever. I've seen him lie about so many different programs, and you can see these all on YouTube where he states he's going to do this and that, and years later, nothing happens. So, but the fact is this is nothing new. People have talked about bases on Mars and extraterrestrials, real extraterrestrials coming in aircrafts or planes, coming here, making contact, showing themselves. I mean, it's endless with the amount of different contacts that have been out there. And of course, it's more than just seeing ships, which are difficult to identify if they are extraterrestrial in nature. Just because it's a round saucer doesn't mean that it isn't from a military source. And I will cover that in other audios in the future. But the point is that here we go again. This is a professional military man of good standing and credibility who has come out and has verified there is an extraterrestrial base with physical aliens on Mars. And this is a base that we all go to. But again, let's go to the last little subject here before I close. Well, that means we have technology to get there, don't we? if we have a base there with people there, we've transported hundreds of people's supplies and everything else. They don't have McDonald's on Mars quite yet, so they got to get their burgers somewhere. There has to be food and other things transported there, or at least a large amount of equipment to grow things and set up things. You're talking about a mass movement, a consistent movement that would have to go there. And that means technologies that we claim we don't have. Well, we all know we do have those technologies. But the bottom line is that trying to get a pound of whatever to Mars on a spaceship costs like $10 million for that one little pound. So you have to make everything tiny. It's very hard to carry things there. It's very hard to get them there. There are huge problems with radiation. There's all sorts of things. So the kind of tinker toy technology that we've been foisted upon us and the megalomaniac Blofeld technologies that we have the idiots of private space industry doing is all a game. It's lies and nonsense. I personally witnessed anti-gravity technology in American airplanes from about 300 feet away. I've seen it. Hundreds of others have. And if they have that, they have everything else. That anti-gravity technology should be highly effective to be used in space, cutting down a 7-month plane ride and horrible spaceship ride in horrible toxic radiation conditions, probably down to hours. The whole idea, until we conquer the distances of space using real technologies, which of course we have from reverse engineered, and of course we're working with aliens, they must be giving us something. Until we conquer that, we can't do anything. Now, let's take that to the next step. We have conquered that. The moon has all sorts of bases on it from extraterrestrials. Now we stated Mars has. What does that mean? How far in space have we went out? How many aliens have we contacted? And when are we going to drop this tinker toy battery-driven technologies we have, like we're playing with Christmas toys? Now we're going to drive around where we put batteries in our cars. Stupid old technology, while we have anti-gravity taking us intergalactic, as the head of Lockheed Skunk Works stated at his retirement party, that we have the technology to go intergalactic. Woo! Well, let's just gloss over that. When you put the pieces together, it's one beautiful, amazing, and frightening puzzle. Until next time.